What's up, Sean? How you doing, man?
I'm good. Should I call you Slot Daddy or Grant?
Grant's fine. It's actually
Okay.
pronounced Grant. I'm from Cape Town,
Okay.
South Africa originally. So when we moved here,
Gotcha.
kindergarten teacher was like, "Hey, what do you want to be called?" And I was like, "My name's Grant." So she's like, "Everyone, this is Grant."
So yeah, let's dive in. Let's chat a little bit about who you are and what got you started in this very interesting niche that we're in.
Sure. So I mean, who I am is we could take 20 hours doing that, but I'll give you the brief. I moved here from South Africa in '93 with my family. So I grew up in San Diego and moved straight to San Diego. Climate's pretty much the same. So my dad chose San Diego because it's like duplicate city of Cape Town almost, climate wise. And, he always wanted to be by the beach. So we stayed by the beach. So grew up in a little suburb of San Diego called Rancho Bernardo, and then kind of made my way from there through 9 different colleges to, for my degree, for my bachelor's degree, kind of just jumped around. I lost a friend. My first college was Chico State, and I was there for 3 semesters. And while I was gone, one of my friends in San Diego passed away, one of my closest friends. So he died on his 20th birthday, and it just kind of like threw me for a loop, man. So I came back, and I know this has nothing to do with any of the gambling things, but it's just part of my story. Came back, bounced around, and finally got it done. And I initially wanted to go into accounting, so I'm pretty good with numbers. I always have been. I'm not necessarily like good at like algebra, calculus, math kind of stuff, but just good with numbers. And so I went into the field of accounting and did that for like 8 years, and it was just miserable cubicle life. And it just didn't work for me. While I was doing that, though, one of the things that I was doing was managing a reggae band, and I started doing that in 2008. So kind of just was like okay with the day life being super mundane and dull, and then having like this like extracurricular activity of managing a band and touring with the band. So I would take tons of time off, hit the road. We went everywhere from Guam to Costa Rica to all over the US, Canada, and just, kind of lived that lifestyle on the side. It's like a secret life almost, but it became a passion for me. And I did that for about 13 years, and ended up, there's other professionals in the world. I was just a guy that was friends with the lead singer, and he's like, "Hey, do you want to do this?" So I did it. And we were extremely successful, but they reached a point where it was like, okay, now it's time to move along, move you guys to somebody that has a little bit more power than I do in the music industry. So that was a lot of fun. But in that time, in that 13 years, I had transitioned from accounting to outside sales. So I got into this rhythm where I was completely remote, working from home, got out of the cubicle life, was on the road visiting customers and stuff. And it gave me the freedom to be able to do both of these kind of professions at the same time. And that kind of leads me into, how I started like Slot Daddy and had the time to do it. I've always been a gambler. I started when I was 16 using my brother's fake ID at Verona Casino. Hopefully they don't see this.
Statute of limitations has passed.
Yeah, you're probably right. Actually, you're definitely right. But, not that they care. They've gotten plenty of my money over the years. I'm sure they're fine with it. But yeah, so at 16, and we were just playing poker. We were just in the poker room with my boys. And one of my friends that I played poker with was like, "Dude, we got to try the slots. Like, it's going to be great." And we've started playing like Pharaoh's Fortune and Kitty Glitter and these, these old 5-reel slot machines that, are still there today, but now they're super digital and not as fun in my opinion. And that's what made me change. But so we hit our first jackpot. We were betting like dollars on Pharaoh's Fortune, and we had never even entered the high limit room. And we made like $400 on like our $100 between 2 guys. And we went into the high limit room. We were betting $7.50 a hit, 50-cent denomination, 15 lines, and we hit 5 wilds, and it was like $6,500. And we were just like 18 years old at this time, just beyond ourselves excited. And that day was what I could like trace back to me being like absolutely hooked on slot machines. Like, man, I started with $50 today and I'm leaving with $32.50. Like, this is amazing. So yeah, so, you know, back in March.
That is amazing. Holy crap.
Yeah. But yeah, so I have always been like kind of documenting like my wins just by taking pictures and stuff. Anytime I got a jackpot, I just take pictures. So back in March, I was watching like King Varsami and NG and Big Jackpot. And I mean, D Lucky was really the first person I saw. Not that I have like any fondness towards him specifically, but like he was the first person I saw. My buddy sent me, he's like, "Whoa, this guy playing big bets like you do at the casino," and he's got 5 million followers, which who knows how real those are, but but yeah, I was like, wow, that's crazy, that's super cool. And I was just talking to my wife, and I was like, I have all these pictures and a couple videos, like maybe I should just start like a page. And so March 2021, or excuse me, March 2022, it's this year, it's only been a few months. I started Slot Daddy. Actually, I started as GB Jackpot Slots. It was my initials, Grand Beatrix Jackpot Slots, so GB Jackpot Slots. And probably took like about a month to get everything that I had like posted and uploaded. And from there, I was starting to go to the casino and just record. Just as soon as I hit a bonus, record the bonus. And I was using that to post as reels. So traction started gaining a little bit of followers. And I think around like 1,000 followers, my wife's friend was like, "Hey, you should change your name because that's a stupid name." And I was like, "Oh, what do you think it should be?" And she's like, she's kind of like, she's out there. She's like super like, I don't know, sexual and promiscuous. And she's like, "You should be like the daddy, like the slot daddy." And I was like, that's really funny. So that's how I got the name. And yeah, from there it was just kept on with just posting reels and stuff, started doing like group pools and things like that. And it gave me the ability to go live more often and, you know, really start gaining traction and posting more content and doing things that kind of like engaged other players to want to be involved. And, you know, got myself embedded into the slot community, the people that are here like you and you know, the people that I talk to every day now, just because of what I'm doing. And I love it. That's the long-winded version.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that's awesome. I think we followed. Oh, no worries. As I said, I think we followed some similar path there in watching some of these other big name folks online. I think it was NG Slot, Brian Christopher, Bomba, Jackpot Guys, things like that. That really, I think I had the flu or something back last March or April, and I just went on this overdose, I guess, of binge watching all these different slot channels on YouTube. And then I said, you know what? I go to the casino all the time. Like I should be doing this too. Like there's no reason I can't be doing this. Nothing's stopping me. So
For sure.
I kind of just started doing the same thing. I had similarly some content on my camera already that I kind of started with. And then from there, it was just, you know, anytime I went to the casino, and at the time, well, actually, I think at the time it was mostly like the casino like 10 minutes away, so it's super convenient. But now the one that I go to the most is about an hour away, so it's less convenient. So if I have a bad run at the casino with my budget, I'm like, I leave with 5 minutes of content and I freak out. I'm like, what am I going to post this week? What am I going to do? So like, how do you keep yourself going? Like, what are some of the tips and tricks that you utilize to ensure that you are constantly flowing with content? Because I feel like you post pretty routinely, like almost every day.
Yeah, I have more content.
If not multiple times.
Do it. Yeah. Unfortunately, you know, the God's honest truth is that I do bet big. I go in and I start betting pretty big right off the bat with my own money, and free play or whatever. Normally I bet really big with because a lot of these casinos give me tons of free play. And so, I'll go in and really kind of hammer it the first like 10 minutes. And if I don't hit, like I'm out and there's no content for that day. Right. I mean, maybe I'll get a bonus or two. Cool. That'll hold me over for a day. But really what happens is I'll hit and it'll be like $4,000, $3,000, whatever. And that carries me through the rest of the day. And my problem is I have a hard time just leaving with anything. And so content's not hard for me because, you know, I'm over there just playing. And, you know, I still like stick to budgets. I still stick to like, I'm not going to the ATM every, 20 minutes. Like that's not my style. I have a life. I don't want to ruin it because of gambling. So I try to be super responsible, but I do give the casino a lot of their money back a lot of the times. But hey, it's helped me kind of create a nice flow of content that I'm able to put out. And, I travel for work. I travel, for personal reasons. And anytime I'm on the road for work or personal reasons, I try to find a casino nearby. And so that's always cool too, right? Is going and testing out other people's like hometown casinos and then posting about it there. And so that's been cool. But yeah, I mean, some of my content's honestly from group pools. So that's been a great like thing to do. I don't know how like frowned upon it is in the community, but I'm having a blast doing it. I think we've done like some great things for some people. Like I've had people reach out and be like, I honestly can't tell you how much this $1,000 win means to me this week, or this month or whatever, which is super cool. But like, I'm not saying I'm doing some like Mother Teresa type activities. It's cool to get that feedback once in a while. Right. So.
Yeah. I mean, you're the casino Robin Hood.
Yeah.
Taking from the casino conglomerate and passing it out across your social channels. So speaking of, recording and whatnot, have you ever had a run-in with security and having them ask you to stop or have any issues, just on property?
Sure. So, again, I started going to Verona Casino in San Diego when I was 16. I've been playing there for 19 years now. So, obviously been a Diamond member, their highest tier for a long, long time. And because obviously I wasn't a Diamond member when I was betting dollar bets, but as I evolved and my wife started coming with me to play blackjack together, do all kinds of fun stuff, and so I was treated very well for a long time there, and my VIP host was amazing. His name's Shaq, super great guy and very helpful. Always took care of me. They give out like actual cash comps, so you can you get a slip and you go, like most casinos just like, here's your $200 free play. Like Verona, it's like, hey, here's $500. I can actually go cash it out and walk out of the casino if I want. That's rare, man. But I don't. I play it, but I'm sure I would.
That's very rare.
Frowned upon. Yeah, it is rare. It's cool that they have that option. But I still play it. I actually think it's like almost tacky to like get it and walk out, but that's my opinion. So yeah. That being said, Verona does not allow filming, and as much as I would have loved to make that like my stake in the ground, where Slot Daddy plays every time he plays Verona Casino and give them that marketing or that advertising or whatever it's worth to them. Maybe it's not worth anything. I don't know, but I thought it would be something, and turns out it's not. They don't care at all. And so that I've gotten not kicked out, but I've been asked there twice now to stop recording, to turn off the live. You can keep gambling, but turn it off. And then my backup casino to Verona when I was, gambling as a 20-year-old, 30-year-old, whatever, was Viejas Casino, and they're the same way. So they just don't allow it. Verona and Viejas are like 35 to 40 minutes away from my house. The only place that lets me record in San Diego is Harrah's Casino. That's an hour away. So I'm in the same boat as you. It's an hour drive. When I lose, I got to go and recollect all of those, all those mistakes I made in the casino that night for a whole full hour. Normally with the radio off, so I can really get in my own head.
Yeah. That's so true, because you could be in the car ride and you'd be like, well, I got my free play balance up to like $1,000 and then I left with $0. So it wasn't really my money, but also like I could have left with $1,000. Like, what am I doing?
Oh yeah. I mean, I normally budget about $1,000 each trip for myself to play. Which I know is like, I don't know if that's a lot or a little. Everybody has their own budgets, and that's, I respect everybody's budgets and what they have to do. I'm fortunate to get a hefty, sum of free play every time I go as well from whatever casino I choose to go to. So it normally, averages it out to about $1,500 a trip. And, when you take that to like $8,000 and leave with absolutely $0 or negative $1,000, like that's a tough drive home for sure.
So you started back in around March, and now here we are 9 months later. Like, what are you hoping that folks are gaining from the content that you create? Like, what are you hoping that people will take away, whether it's just enjoyment or anything like educational? Like, what are you hoping that people will take away from you?
Yeah, I don't think I have any kind of a message. I just like updated my profile because I realized that I'm not like the most kosher person on the planet, and I'm pretty vulgar at times, and I can be offensive. And I know that I've gotten messages and be like, hey, you said this in your live and it was offensive or whatever. So I just changed my profile. I said, slightly offensive slot player. Try not to, I toe the line, but I try not to go over it too often. And it's not that I'm intentionally trying to hurt anyone or make fun of anyone or anything. I just make jokes, and sometimes that's taken the wrong way. So, I don't think I have some messaging or anything that I'm trying to portray to anyone. Just be real, be yourself. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, I'm here for entertainment, man. I'm not trying to tell anyone to go gamble. I'm not, I have a lot of requests asking what's the best slot machine, what should I bet? I'm like, yo, you got to just go feel it out and do it yourself, man. Like, I'm not going to help you win money. It's just not a thing. It's not real. That doesn't exist. Like, you put money in, you push the button, you pray you get something. That's it. That's all there is to it.
Zero skill involved. Absolutely.
No. Yeah. I have no skill.
So, I mean, speaking about your profile, you said that you recently changed it to slightly offensive slot player. And obviously there's a persona around that, and maybe not a persona, it's just who you are, of how you talk and how you are just candid in your lives, and recording in your robe, and having the Bass Pro Shop inspired logo and all that kind of stuff. Where did all this come from? Is this really just who you are, or is there a little bit of, let me lean into this slot daddy persona when I'm like posting in my robe or creating content?
Yeah, I mean, the robe thing came about because I was on a cruise ship, and we were on a Virgin cruise, my first cruise ever. And my friends booked the Mega Rockstar suite. And so that's the biggest suite on the ship. When you see the big jackpot go on Virgin Cruises, it's the suite that he stays in. It's the exact same suite actually that he stayed in. And so we were next door in a smaller suite. But they had the Mega Rockstar suite, which is like all of your alcohol is included. Like, you have a personal butler. It's really nice. But one of the things they give you is 2 robes in the bathroom that say like Rockstar on the back of them. And the first night of the cruise, when the casino opens, we get out to sea, there's a pajama party at like 7 p.m. So everyone on the ship shows up in pajamas. And of course, I don't wear pajamas. I don't know why I don't. I just have sweatpants and I go to sleep in my boxers. Like, I don't know. I just don't wear pajamas.
A normal person. Yeah.
Yeah. My wife wears tons of pajamas. So she was stacked. She had everything she needed. So we were like talking like, oh, should we go to this, this welcome pajama party? And I was like, I don't have shit to wear. And my friend's like, why don't you just throw on this robe? Sure. I don't care. So everyone on the ship's already in pajamas. I don't look weird at all. I mean, everyone's thinking like, wow, what a crazy guy. He's in the casino in a robe. That's nuts. Well, little do they know, this casino's like tiny. It was like super late at night. There was only like, in fact, I get comments like, looks like promo for the casino. There's no one at the slot machines around you. Like, okay, not at all. But yeah, so I come from the pajama party. We've been drinking all night. It was on my birthday, on my 35th birthday. And we go in the casino and I'm just gambling. And I wasn't even trying to get content. I was just gambling with my friends, and you can hear them like yelling in the video, but they were recording me. And so like that video was so organic, which I love, and candid, just me just having a good time. Like, I'm not a huge drinker, but it was my birthday, so I had a few drinks, and so I was just having fun. I was loose. I was, whatever. And so they sent me these videos the next day. They're like, how funny are these? And I was like, wow, that's awesome. And so I threw the first one up and people loved it. And I had another one. So I threw that up, and that one ended up like blowing up, like 1.5 million views. That's why I have all these followers, I think, because like reels went viral and, things start getting traction. It just worked out for me. But yeah, so that's the robe story. And then of course, like I have people that are like, have become pretty close to me. So somebody sends me my own personal slot daddy robe. Her name's Camilla. She's awesome. She's like the coolest person ever. But she's like, hey, do you mind if I buy myself a robe that says Slot Daddy on it? I said, not at all. Go ahead. She's like, yeah, it's just your brand, you know. She's like, I ordered 2, but I wanted to ask your permission. I was like, why'd you order 2 robes? She's like, I'm sending one to you. And I was like, no way, that's awesome. So now I got my own personalized Slot Daddy robe.
That's incredible. All I have is this sign, and I paid for it. So
I got this. Check this out. My wife's friends are like super cool people, and they made me my own little bobblehead.
Oh, that's incredible, man. Oh, that's sick.
So he chills on my desk now.
I don't think Brian Christopher has a bobblehead, so.
Oh man, I guess like they had it like made in China. The slot machine is nothing I ever play. It's like a 777 thing, but it's awesome. I think it's so cool. And also they got it made and like sent a picture of me, so they didn't do the hat either, which is fine. But I do have a story about the hat too, if you want to hear it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Never been a hat wearer ever in my life, and we went up to Newport for like a friend's birthday. And my hair, like when the wind blows and stuff, it's kind of long. Like it's not super long, but it like falls in my face and shit. And so it just starts bothering the hell out of me because I do it, but then sometimes, you know, the gel kind of wears off or whatever. So we were on the beach and it was like blowing my face, and my buddy handed me this hat. He's like, here, dude, like you look like you're super annoyed. And it was a Bass Pro Shop hat, not this one, different one. And it was literally the first hat I've ever owned. And he said, just keep it. And so I was just one day wearing it, and then people started being like, that's your lucky hat. So now this is before the logo, before anything. So now I got this lucky Bass Pro Shop hat. So now I got to keep wearing the damn thing. But because I'm letting my hair grow out a little bit, I'm like, well, I can keep my hair out of my face, keep wearing the hat. And, you know, now I got a couple of them. I made my own Slot Daddy hats, and I had the same friend that actually suggested the name Slot Daddy change the Bass Pro Shop logo for me, which I'm sure is some kind of a copyright, and I'll probably get shit for it down the line. But for now, we're going to write it out. So yeah, she made the logo for me, and that was that.
That's awesome. Yeah, I have like some stuff in a merch store online, and every so often when a friend buys something, they'll send me something for my own store. But nothing as cool as a bobblehead for sure. So you were saying that you don't play the 777s or, you know, things like that. What are your go-tos? You mentioned Pharaoh earlier. You mentioned, I think, Diamond Queen. But like, what are your go-tos?
Yeah, I mean, I'm all over the map. I mean, I think people really, really, really love dragons and lightning links and everything like that right now, and that's like the hot thing, right? And I think other games are starting to gain traction towards them because they're seeing like some of the payouts kind of slip down a little bit. It looks like, I don't know how that all works. I'm sure they're resetting or doing over-the-air updates on the software or something. Maybe they are dropping in their payouts, but so I mean, I like those games. I really do. Right now for me, I think the game that is like the most excitement, you know, as electric as it gets, is Huff and More Puff. I just think like the features, the bonuses, like, yeah. I mean, it's not always good. Not, you know, no slot can just always be good, but when it's good, man, it's awesome. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, so that game, and you know, I do like dragons. I love dancing drums. I'm a big fan of dancing drums, but I like the high limit ones. I think that like your money just goes a lot further. I can max bet the pennies and get $300 bonuses every time, or I can minimum bet the high limit 10-cent one, dime one, and get a $2,000 bonus like every fourth bonus. It's crazy. It just feels like it just pays so much more for some reason. Personally, I think I burned myself out on Vegas before I even started Slot Daddy, which is funny because now is the time that I should be probably heading to Vegas a little bit more often. But my 20s were a whirlwind of bad decisions, and Vegas was involved in many of those bad decisions. So I've kind of stayed away, and the trips that I have done to Vegas in my 30s and since Slot Daddy's come to fruition have been day trips. I'll fly in the morning and fly out in the evening. So I'm not even staying the night. And I'm doing the same thing on January 5th. I'm doing the same thing on January 28th. I get the fuck out, man. Excuse my language. I mean, I actually should like take a look at kind of my travels and try to like find a map of like locations that I've gambled in and see how many states I've actually gambled in, because there's a lot. I've done West Coast, Midwest, East Coast, kind of all over the map. So not a lot in like the Northeast though, just mainly in like Florida, to be honest with you. I don't really like when I've gone to like New York and stuff, like I could probably go out to upstate and try to hit a casino, but I'm just in the city, man. I'm just hanging. I got so many friends in New York City that I just want to kind of spend time with them. There's no real time for like there's so much to do in New York. So there's no real time for a trip to the casino.
I mentioned earlier that I have yet to do group pulls. Do you have any advice for someone that is in our niche that is starting out and wants to get into that category?
Yeah, start small. I would say like just start like just do one group, post it, see if people want to join, like, I don't know, $75, right? Just do like a small buy-in and say, hey guys, like I'm going to go just pick a machine. I think it works a lot better when you're like, hey, I'm going to go play this machine on these bets this day at this time. Like give them all the information up front. And I wouldn't let them Zelle you. I wouldn't let them do certain transactions to you because again, you don't want that to happen. I think you are protected by Venmo and Cash App. So I think like there's a safety net there. Like Venmo can't go into your bank and pull money out of your bank. That won't happen. They would actually have to go argue with your bank and then you have a little bit of leeway. But if you just get a Zelle, I know it's only $75, but if somebody's like, hey, I lost on this group pool, so I feel like I got cheated or whatever. And they're like, I want my $75 back. Your bank won't protect you. They'll just give it back because they don't want to deal with it. They just don't. Their time is more valuable, right? So, yeah, I mean, stick to the payment apps and not the direct Zelle payments, and then and have fun with it. I mean, I think it's great. I know that some people frown upon it, in the community because they're building all their content on their own dime, and I get, it's like a cheat code for me. I get to create all this content. And it's a little investment for me. It's a much smaller investment than if I were to do it all myself. And, yesterday I was playing dancing drums, betting $53 and $88 a hit. And it was on a group pool. And, we hit some jackpots on it and had some fun. But that, I can't do that on my own. I mean, I could, but like, I'm in like the $10 to $25 hits, like I'm not. I mean, once in a while when I'm really up, yeah, I'm betting big, but not like that. I'm not the big jackpot. I'm not D-Lucky. I'm not NG, If you can be responsible and you can partake in this, I personally think all of the streamers and stuff give people an avenue to not go spend money at the casino, to not, blow everything they have, because you're able to experience it and be a part of it without going. And I think that's such a cool vibe, but such a cool experience.
So we're just about at our time here. So before we end the call, I wanted to give you an opportunity to share with folks that are listening where they can find you, what social channels, and anything else you want to share.
Yeah, awesome. I mean, I'm just on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. All are kind of in the process of building, having a lot of fun with it, but it's just Slot Daddy and then SD at the end, basically because I live in San Diego and Slot Daddy's, it's an S and a D. So it just worked out, right? So Slot Daddy SD on all three platforms. You can find me there. I really appreciate your time today, Shawn. I appreciate you bringing me on and including me in what you've got going on. It's really cool. I've obviously been watching as well. And it's cool to see the level of involvement that you're building in the community as well. So I truly do appreciate you bringing me on today.
Oh, that's super kind of you to say. I appreciate the feedback there. And, if you're ever in the Northeast, I'd love to do a little challenge with you here in the Boston area. So keep me posted on your travels.
Yeah, absolutely. I would be all about that, man.